Good morning. We are live. Thank you for watching and welcome to Jonesy Chats Wrestling. In a few seconds, we're just going to be telling you about last night's Go Home Monday Night Raw, on the road to WrestleMania. It'll be myself, joined by Steve from SCW. We want to hear your opinions in the comments. We want to hear what you thought of last night's Monday Night Raw show. Stay tuned. It's coming up next. We hope you enjoy the show. Hi, welcome back to Jonesy Chats Wrestling on YouTube. I'm George, and this is Steve. It's good to see we've got a great show lined up this morning. In just a few seconds, we'll be discussing last night's Go Home Monday Night Raw. How are you this morning, Steve?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thanks for having us back on the channel. I must admit, a little bit tired this morning, but of course, it's a big WrestleMania week. Sleep goes out the window this week. We can worry about that in the future time. But yeah, it's been another action-packed section of Raw, and yeah, we're going to be discussing it.
Definitely. If anyone is joining us first time today, new viewers and older, welcome. We hope you enjoy the show. Please give us a thumbs up as you watch, and please subscribe to the channel for the good stuff. Please do support what we're trying to do here at Jonesy Chats Wrestling. But without further ado, let's get into the show then. So Monday Night Raw coming off of an impactful SmackDown. Were you excited going into this Monday Night Raw?
Honestly, after last week, no, but I was just hoping there'd be some form of improvement. Of course, trying to get the popularity vote early, knowing that Baron Corbin was going to be in the main event, wasn't really doing it for me. So, yeah, for me, I was just hopeful that we'd get some sort of build on the road to WrestleMania that would give me a bit more enticement for a few of the matches, and there's certainly one or two of them did deliver.
Definitely. So the show obviously opens up. We get Drew McIntyre out there. Really, really strong promo from Drew. He mentions obviously the struggles he's had to get back to WWE. He mentioned his mother had cancer and stuff like that. Really heart touching. Really sort of he nearly broke down during parts of it. It ends up with Bobby Lashley coming out saying that although it took Drew 16 years, it took him 17 years to win the title. Great sort of dueling promos. It was absolutely fantastic. We then get the elephant in the room. We get Baron Corbin coming out. Baron Corbin interrupts. And it's kind of it's just really there to kind of hype that they're going to have this match on Saturday and just really to hype the main event of Raw. What was your thoughts of the promo?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a strong opening segment from both Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. And like you say, it's not really much story development and making things going further, but it's hyping the fact that it's your main event from the Raw side. And the commentary team really hit home the words main event about 3 or 4 times throughout this opening segment. But if I'm not mistaken, though, isn't it meant to be the opener of WrestleMania?
Yeah. A really, really good point you make, Steve. It was very confusing. It's not been clear whether it's going to be the main event or the opener. It's up in the air, which is just typical with WWE going into this week, but I would hope it's the opener. The women, Sasha Banks and Bianca, need to be the main event. I think. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Drew McIntyre's already spoke about in an interview that he'd be quite happy to be the opener because the idea is you're the first one in front of fans, and that's why there's not meant to be a kickoff match on Saturday. They're going straight with the Mania show because that first match in front of fans is going to feel like a big deal. It's almost like a main event in itself, so maybe that's what they're trying to draw on.
Definitely. Going to go to the comments quickly. We've got WrestleMania UK. Will be a banning opener. I agree with you, Max. Thank you for watching the video. It will be a banning opener. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Steve? I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think those two will knock it out of the park.
Perfect. So going to go to the next part of Raw. So we've got this match. It's Xavier Woods with AJ Styles and Omos. Really fun match. I've done this match quite a few times recently, but it did what it needed to do. Omos gets kind of distracted, and then Xavier Woods gets the roll up. Xavier Woods winning this, so the one half of the tag team champions going into WrestleMania with a big win. What was your thoughts of the match?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. It did sort of what it needs to do. New Day sort of getting a bit of momentum after last week and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's all that sort of teamwork to 2 single superstars. That's been the story, hasn't it? So they worked on that. And, of course, New Day get the advantage going into WrestleMania.
Definitely. We then obviously had this in-ring promo from Braun Strowman. Braun goes on about bullying and sort of how he's been bullied. It ends up kind of with Shane McMahon coming out. It was just a generic promo fitting the mold what we've had recently to build this feud up. We then have this 2-on-1 handicap match, Braun versus Elias and Jackson Riker. For me, yeah, it was average. There was nothing too special about the promo. I'm a bit bored of this feud. Not excited about this on sort of the pay-per-view. What did you think of the promo in the match, Steve?
Very vanilla, wasn't it? Let's be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the idea of this feud is kind of like the Braun's meant to be stupid. They're kind of playing off this bullying angle, but not nowhere near to the level they did with Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss a few years ago. It's not to that same level at all. But yeah, poor Raw's tag team division. They all seem to lose in handicap matches, don't they? Elias and Jackson Riker just didn't work here for them, unfortunately. But no, the right person went over.
Definitely. Who do you think is winning on sort of on the pay-per-view? Have you got a prediction?
The thing is, with going with the bullying angle, you start to think, well, maybe Braun Strowman will be the person winning. And I think, I mean, I saw this in your predictions just yesterday that it was kind of a back and forth, but I had been leaning towards Shane McMahon because the idea is that, well, the storyline, Braun's meant to be stupid. He's the one that's picked the stipulation. There are ways and means that Shane McMahon can get in and around and out of the cage. So my feeling was that Shane was going to get away with it. And this, unfortunately, could be extended to another pay-per-view. I'm sure those watching will probably think, God, no, please don't give anyone any ideas of that.
Yeah, the only way Shane McMahon's winning, I'll put it out there, is if Dabby Cater comes in and helps him or somebody helps him. That's the only way that Shane's winning. He's not winning this off his own back, I don't think. But it will be an interesting match, no to speak. But I'm going Braun all day long. I think Braun will win. We then obviously had a fun backstage segment. We got Bad Bunny arriving with his Bugatti. And then obviously later in the show, we then obviously get sort of Miz and Morrison there with kind of a promo. We then obviously have Miz and Morrison. They're kind of sort of talking about what they're going to do. And they then end up putting paint all over this $3 million car. Fantastic segment. Really kind of enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as smashing up the Corvette back in the old days, but it was fun. What was your thoughts of the segment of Miz smashing up the car?
It was exactly the line I was going to link it to back to 98. So you got there ahead of me on that one. But yeah, no, for what this was a lot of fun, actually. I must admit that I actually found this storyline throughout the entire Raw to be the most entertaining, the most popular because, you know, I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's a bit more childlike with the paint on the car, but it delivers the message. It heightens the feud and it gives more of a purpose of it going into WrestleMania. So that's something you want on a go-home show. You want to see the feuds that we've got and them to go a step further. And they certainly did that because there was more to come with this on this week's Raw.
Definitely. So obviously, after they do this, we end up getting sort of this non-title women's tag match. So we've got Asuka and we've got Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. Obviously, Rhea Ripley, one of Rhea Ripley's first match on the Raw brand, so she's come up again. Yeah, not too bad match. It ends up sort of with Rhea Ripley doing what we said last week, just abandoning Asuka. Did you enjoy this match and what did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to take out of account that I'm not a fan of the way that's been built on the storyline and the idea to me that Rhea Ripley was so popular and over in NXT, how she can be brought up as a heel. But at the same time, though, I look at it and say, let's watch it for what it is and let's see what we can take out of it. And Rhea Ripley, she's a star, isn't she? Let's just be fair here. Like her characteristics, her movements, the way she sort of patted Oscar on the head to get the tag in and stuff like that. Just those little things that Rhea Ripley was doing. She was showing there's star power in there and she can play the heel very well. And she has done it previously in amongst NXT UK before. So she's no stranger to the role. Yes, it's no surprise with the turn of what was done on Oscar later in the match. But yeah, it's a very interesting. I feel that this certainly was more entertaining, even though it felt kind of predictable.
Definitely. I think it did what it needed to do. I think Oscar, clearly she's not been a great defending champion. She's only defended the belt twice since kind of September. So looking forward to seeing it. Hopefully Rhea gets the win on the pay-per-view on Sunday. And then we can then go on to a successful title defense from Rhea Ripley for a while because I think she's going to be a good champion. Would you agree or disagree?
I think Rhea Ripley would be a very good champion if she was to become Raw Women's Champion. But the question is it too soon? Is it coming out of nowhere if she was to win the belt on Sunday? Because there hasn't really been that hype, that build. But also the other question is if she loses on Sunday, where does she go? So this is going to be interesting what's going to go on with these two. It's certainly a match I'm looking forward to. But as for a prediction, and I've got to do them later today, I haven't quite made my mind up yet.
Interesting. Going to go to the comments. RW Wrestling. Hello, how are you? Yeah, very good. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you're well. Thank you for checking it out. Yeah, appreciate you being up this time and wanting to watch a video. But no, we're fine. Looking forward to WrestleMania. It's going to be an exciting week, definitely. So moving on, obviously, with Raw, we then obviously have Bad Bunny returning back to the parking garage. He inspects his car. He looks devastated. Then we finally get Miz and Morrison doing a beatdown. They leave Bad Bunny in quite a bad way. We get Damian Priest coming like almost 10 minutes too late. It was a really good segment. I really kind of enjoyed it. To be fair, Bad Bunny's had this coming for weeks, so I didn't feel too bad for him, to be fair. The way that he's kind of punched him in the face, he's been kind of mistreated him and stuff. It's one of the things. But what comes out of this, the crux of this, is we're going to get this now a tag match at WrestleMania. So credit to WWE. Very, very good move. They should have done this all along. And I'm really, really happy it's a tag match. It's going to alleviate some of the pressure off of Bad Bunny, really. Although he may have been training in ring like for this match, I think getting Morrison in there and getting Damian Priest as WrestleMania Raven, is going to be a sensible thing. What was your thoughts on the match and the announcement? Sorry, the angle and the announcement, sorry.
Yeah, no, totally fine. I really enjoyed it. I thought the beatdown was good. I think that the heels needed to get some like actual heat going into this, because as much as the hey hot pop was entertaining for a variety of different ways, at the same time it doesn't really give you that heat to see that you want to get them beaten up. So at that point where they kind of got the advantage of a Bad Bunny this week, I thought was very well done. It was very well executed the way it was delivered on camera. This was the storyline this week that really shone on Monday Night Raw, and like you say, it's been made into the tag team match now. Should have been like that all along, yes, but there was concerns of injuries, or should we say niggling injuries, for John Morrison and Damien Priest. Looks like both of them been able to shake it off on perhaps well enough to do this tag match at WrestleMania. And like you say, this is very good, because not only does Damien Priest is the one that's got everything to gain here. He's the guy that's recently come from NXT. He's with Bad Bunny. He can do the bulk of the work if needed, now that it's made into a tag match. And hopefully he's the one that's going to come out the other side of this looking like a star.
Definitely, I agree with you. I'm going to go to the comments quickly. We've got one here. RW Wrestling, thank you for your comment. Raw was quite good, especially Drew McIntyre promo. I'm glad that Damien Priest is going to Mania. 100% agree. The Drew McIntyre promo was fantastic. And Damien Priest at WrestleMania, it's a great spot for him to get that rub. Because obviously when Bad Bunny leaves after WrestleMania, Damien Priest needs to be the focus, if that makes sense. He's not going to have Bad Bunny there sort of holding him back, if that makes sense. You got anything you want to add on that comment, Steve?
No, I think it's spot on with both of the comments. And one thing I would suggest is that after WrestleMania, I think if WWE are smart, they need to insert Damien Priest in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
100%. Great suggestion. I'd be a massive fan of that. Obviously, we did also get this announcement. So we're going to have this tag team Turmoil. It's rare to see a tag team Turmoil back. I haven't seen that for many years, if I'm not mistaken. The winner will get a shot at the women's tag team champions on night 2 WrestleMania. So we've got Naomi Lana, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, the Riot Squad, Tamina and Natalia. And then randomly, there's a graphic there of Billie Kay and Carmella. When I saw that, I was really kind of excited. I'm happy to see Billie Kay and Carmella. Both of them are not on the WrestleMania card. Carmella's work's been outstanding since she came back, particularly at TLC against Sasha. And for me, I was looking forward to this. I think they've done a good job of sort of building this up. Are you sort of a fan of this tag team Turmoil? And who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting Turmoil. I mean, the one thing that makes me... I was always feeling before this that we were going to get 4 teams in a fatal 4-way to decide who it's going to be or that sort of thing. But now that it looks like it's going to be 5 teams, before it was Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, now I'm sort of leaning towards Carmella and Billie Kay. But again, I'll make the full prediction later on to stick my neck out one way or another. But one thing I have to remember is that Reginald has been put now with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And, of course, there was a dig given to Carmella, I think it was last week on SmackDown. So there is that small tease, even if it's the littlest, smallest build ever, that could play into a factor into WrestleMania.
Interesting. It'll be interesting what element he has. Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. In terms of a pick for me, I'm going, it's 1 or 2 teams really that has to win. I'm going to go either Billie Kay and Carmella. I'd love to see them win personally. Or I think it's going to be Tamina and Natalia. Tamina and Natalia have been built up so strongly. Natalia's got a recent win, if I'm not mistaken, over Bianca Belair as well. So it's going to be good. Do you think we're going to... I think we're probably going to get new tag team champions. We'll see, though. Moving back to Raw then. So obviously we've got this non-title match. W champion Bobby Lashley against Cedric Alexander. Obviously, before the match, Lashley gets jumped. It then ends up as a one-on-one match. It was an okay match. Lashley was quite dominant. He got the win by submission. So he's going in strong into WrestleMania. What were your thoughts of the match?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good, fun match. I do think Cedric Alexander got more offense in than I was expecting, which was quite nice to see. But no, I mean, the thing is, let's put the Hurt Business stuff aside. We had a big rant over that last week, and to take just for face value this week, we knew this match was coming. Lashley was the guy that had to go over. It was a good match. It's just a shame it's had to come to this at this point. But for what it was decent.
Definitely. We then obviously have this video package. It's Randy Orton and The Fiend's history. It ends up with kind of Alexa Bliss saying you can't kill The Fiend. He just went away for a Mania. The Fiend will kill the Legend Killer. Did you enjoy this kind of promo? They didn't add a lot of context to it. I'm surprised there wasn't more on the show for that feud.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting something very last minute. I mean, of course, we've seen a couple of match changes or additions, and I was expecting a stipulation or something to be added to this match. That didn't come. But video package is what it was. We'll take it for what it is.
Definitely. So we have this in-ring promo. It's Damien Priest and Bad Bunny. This ends up with the tag match, as you said earlier. Crucially, I think the best part of it was we get Miz and Morrison kind of sort of running away. I don't know if it's just me, Steve. I felt that it would have been better if we had sort of Damian Priest and Bad Bunny chased Miz and Morrison out the arena and sort of chased them in the car. I think that was kind of gone, really. I think that was a missed opportunity here, in my opinion. Because I think it would have, in the old days, you would have got sort of them be chased out the building, because obviously Bad Bunny should be hot. He should be angry. He's been attacked. His car's been damaged. What were your thoughts of the promo? And do you agree with that or disagree?
I do agree with it. The only thing I would say is they were at the limo already, and those guys were in the ring. I've got no idea how big Tropicana Field is, how quick it would be to get to there. So there is the potential, the timing element of what they could do. But at the same time, I would say Bad Bunny was fantastic on his promo. Same with Priest as well. But Bad Bunny, I feel he's better than half of the roster. Literally, this guy's only been there for a cup of tea. Yeah, there's so much passion. But the thing is, you've got to give credit on a celebrity that's come in. He's gone in with 2 feet fully in the door. He loves this. This means a hell of a lot to him. And for someone that's a Grammy winner as well, like, he really wants to be part of this. He's got to go down as one of the best WWE celebrities of all time. And like, you've got to look forward in maybe 10 years or something like that. This guy, we see the Hall of Famers that we get with the celebrity wing. This guy's a shoo-in.
Definitely. Do you think this guy's going to be Stephen Arnell? Or do you reckon he's going to be Lawrence Taylor? Which one do you reckon he'll be on WrestleMania? Do you think he's going to be good? I think it'll be very, very good. I think the work he's put in, this guy loves the business. You can tell he's really in it. He's really a fan as well, which is really kind of good. Do you think he's going to surprise people at WrestleMania?
I think he could. His punches, have got a lot better. If you saw like week 2 or something, it looked like the weakest thing in the world, because he obviously knew if he'd gone for it properly, he probably would have clocked someone. But the way he's gone since, and now he's going in full force and he's delivering them, they look like money shots. So yeah, I have sort of higher hopes for Bad Bunny than most. So let's see what happens. But I don't expect it to be quite Stephen Amell McAfee level, but maybe somewhere in the middle, certainly a respectable level. Now it's a tag team match also. There's a little bit of pressure off.
Definitely. Going to quickly go to the comments. So WrestleMania QK, thank you for your comment, Max. Can't believe there's no stipulation for one in Fiend. Let's hope we don't get worms and fire projected into the ring. Yeah, no, definitely. That still causes me nightmares, actually, I think that. But no, I think it'll be fun. The fact it's a singles match, I think Randy's getting destroyed. I just can't see sort of Randy Orton coming out of this in any sort of credibility, really. What's your thoughts, Steve? You looking forward to the match?
I don't mind, really. This feud hasn't really been for me, so I can't say I'm overly invested. But what I am hoping for is that we get a closing chapter. So there is something to look forward for this for me at WrestleMania.
Definitely. We've got this non-title match. It's United States, Riddle versus Ali. Obviously, we've had this match before quite recently. This was a fairly good match, but in the end, I've got to quickly go to a point before he actually discussed the match. I've just remembered. What about Riddle's entrance with the birds? It's almost like an episode of Pokemon or something. What is that about? What's the connection there, and what does it mean, do you think?
I wanted to mention this last week, and I totally forgot. And I'm glad
I didn't notice last week. To be fair,
I would have forgotten this week as well. It's just another one of those choo-choo moments. It's absolutely dreadful. But hey, WWE wants to cater to all ages, and for me, this is something that kids will kind of go, "Oh, birds," and there's probably something that older people are going to go, "Oh, we see what you're doing there with that." But for me, it doesn't do anything for me. I just think it's ridiculous.
Do we think Riddle's going to go off and be the next Pokemon master? Is that going to be this year's version of Raw Underground or something like that? I'm joking, obviously, but we'll have
to wait and see. Yeah,
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
With Riddle's character, anything is literally possible. I will say that his interaction with the New Day was the most entertaining I've seen Riddle in months. But with Riddle, I find it a bit of a lost cause when he's out of the ring.
Definitely. So we've obviously got the match, as we said, Riddle and Ali. This was a really good match. Really, really good. They got a good amount of time. Riddle picks up the wing, looking strong going into this WrestleMania match against Sheamus. Did you enjoy the match?
The match was superb. I really enjoyed the match. There was some very innovative offense as well, particularly a few moves, some stuff for Ali that really impressed me. I really hope he gets a push at some point. But for right now, he's a guy that's going to put someone over. He does a great job in doing it. Riddle needed the victory. Sheamus at ringside. It's not done a lot to push their match forward, but we know these two will deliver in the ring come Sunday.
I think it'd be fun, definitely. Moving forward, then we've obviously got this main event. So we've got Riddle. Riddle the main event. No, definitely not. We've got this main event. Drew McIntyre facing King Corbin. It was okay. It went on forever. They got so much time. It was okay in parts, but Drew McIntyre getting the win. He was obviously going to win, and sort of the show obviously ends up with just kind of Drew McIntyre basically looking like he's going to sort of do something, and nothing really kind of happens. It's just Lashley and Drew sort of staring at each other. What were your thoughts on the match in the end of the show?
For a second, I thought I'd gone back to WrestleMania 12 for an Iron Man match, but no, literally, the match did feel like it was a long match. But the thing is, this was the most logical but predictable route that WWE could have gone. I think anyone plus their children could have booked this, really, how it was going to go down. It went to plan. It was how it should be. I think MVP's spot towards the end of the match saying, you don't need to beat him, you need to take him out. I thought that was quite a fun moment, but of course that led straight into the Claymore for the victory. And yeah, then we had the classic stare down going into WrestleMania. You want your two strongest people, at the end of the show, looking down one another and know that they're going to face off this Sunday or this Saturday, I should say, for these two. And that'll be, like we said earlier in the video, that's going to be a very fun match. It's going to be a great play, wherever it is in the card, whether it's the opener, whether it's the main event. End of the day, this match will be decent. It's certainly going to be a lot more hype to it than what there was at Backlash last year.
Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a very fun match. It's very hard to predict who's going to win. It's like tossing a coin. You've got no idea who's going to win. But no, it should be fun. Let's go to a final score and thoughts of this Raw show then. So I'll let you go first, Steve. If you're going to score this, what are your final thoughts and score of the show?
I'm going to go for a 6, just purely because I think this is quite run-of-the-mill. I don't feel that there was too much that made me overly invested in what was going on. My favourite parts of the show were the Bad Bunny, Miz and Morrison stuff. I quite enjoyed what they did for the women's tag team match as well, for WrestleMania with the Turmoil and stuff. I thought that was okay. But the rest of it was all right. I mean, like you say, Drew had a great promo at the start of the show. A couple of matches, Riddle and Ali was all right as well. But overall, I don't think it was too much to take away from it to say this was go home WrestleMania. So in that way, it's a bit of a disappointment. But what I would say is it was better than last week. So I'll happily settle for that 6 out of 10.
Perfect. Just before I give you my score, I'm going to go to the comments quickly. Mex with WrestleMania QK. Drew wins the title 100%. Maybe if they want to get the fans over, I would love it to be a swerve where we get the Hurt Business reform and Lashley wins the belt or retains the belt. Lashley hasn't had the belt on. Who are you wanting to win going into this match on Sunday, Steve? Saturday even, sorry.
Wanting or think will happen. Wanting is Lashley, but I'm with Mex on this one. I think it's 100% nailed on. Drew is winning here.
Definitely. I'm going to go to my score and final thoughts. This was an okay show. It went quite quick. It was better than last week's Raw. There isn't a massive amount to talk about. In terms of the score, I'm going 5 out of 10. It didn't feel like a go-home show. The only real positive to this, there's a couple of positives, was the fact we got this now as a tag match. The Miz match will now be a tag, which is a positive. The tag team Turmoil is going to get Carmella and Billy Kay on the card, which is a positive for me as well. But that was kind of it, really, Steve. Have you got anything to add about Raw before we end the show today?
Well, thankfully, there's no more Raws now on WrestleMania. We go focus on SmackDown, and SmackDown obviously is clearly the A show right now. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they build for that on Friday.
Definitely. Before we end the video today, please tell everybody about what's coming up on your channel this week for WrestleMania week.
Yeah, so there'll be videos dropping every single day. So WrestleMania predictions are dropping today. We're going to aim to go live tomorrow, which, Jonesy, you're going to join me for that, which is going to be good. It'll be the first time I go live, so that'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be an open WrestleMania Q&A, so if people want to ask questions about this year's WrestleMania or any WrestleMania, feel free to drop in and get yourselves involved. It's going to be very interactive. As well as that, we'll quickly touch on NXT as well. Of course, the TakeOver is coming up, so on the same day, so we can just quickly touch on the show as well. But also, there's plenty of content to go and check out on the channel right now as well. We've got NXT Stand and Deliver predictions and Retro WrestleManias. A lot of work's gone into those, so I'd definitely love people to go and check them out. WrestleMania 9 and WrestleMania 17. Are they the worst and best WrestleManias of all time? Make sure to go and check them out. Definitely. Highly recommend you check out the video. Steve's well on the way to 1,000 subs. Let's get him there to buy WrestleMania. This guy deserves it. The amount of content he puts out is excellent. He does some really good work. But no, definitely please come on the live stream tomorrow. In terms of me, I've got quite a few videos come out recently. We've got one where we're previewing top 5 wrestlers that are going to go from AEW to WWE potentially. And we've also got one where Jonesy gets creative, where I build a stable out of the WrestleMania main event. If you haven't, take a watch. Let me know what you think of the thoughts. But no, I really appreciate you for watching. Thank you for leaving comments as well. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy this WrestleMania. And yeah, it's going to be a really fun week. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I'm sure there'll be plenty more videos as well. But Steve, just before you go, I want to thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you for having me on as always. Always great to be here. So I appreciate you having me back on.
No problem. We're out of time today. So thank you all for watching. Please like, share, subscribe to the video. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for watching.